It's my privilege to speak with Ellen Richardson today. Ellen is the author of the book Tender Whispers of Love, where she shares her personal story of pain that led her to a suicide attempt, leaving her in a wheelchair. Yet 3.5 years later, a friend dubbed her Ellen of Joy. Isn't that great? Ellen has degrees in theology and counseling, and her book is a source of comfort and deep insight into mental illness and suicide. Let's meet Ellen. Hi, Ellen. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorie. I appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, Ellen, in your book, Tender Whispers of Love, which I'm really enjoying and learning a lot, by the way, you share your personal story of pain and
Thank you.
suffering from mental illness to a suicide attempt that left you in a wheelchair. Can you tell us a little of your story?
Yes, I was raised in a highly dysfunctional home where there was parentification and scapegoating, even some violence. My entire family bullied me from when I was very little. It led to my being diagnosed when I was 22 with major depression, which is a biochemical disorder and of the brain. And I was put on medication, and that helped. Around that time, I noticed while I was deeply depressed, so many monarch butterflies flying in my line of vision that I started to think someone was trying to get my attention, and that someone was God. I came to believe in the existence of God through that experience. A friend soon thereafter, not knowing about the butterflies at all, invited me to her church, where I accepted Jesus from a faithful pastor who gave an altar call.
Wow. I'm sorry for your upbringing, your story, and I know that it led you down this path to the point of even trying to take your own life. What happened?
Yes, the wheelchair is a very difficult story. I was very mentally ill, severely mentally ill. And I had tried over 60 times to get help and I went over 60 times to the emergency department of various hospitals. And still I was sent home every single time untreated. And I went to 3 hospitals in the week prior to it. And I said unequivocally that I intend to jump from this particular bridge unless I'm hospitalized. Instead of hospitalizing me, they sent me to a psychiatric holding center.
Yeah, and that was a difficult place for you because it was right close to that bridge, which is where you attempted to take your life and then ended up as a result in the wheelchair. But this is not all of your story, is it, Ellen? I mean, that doesn't define you. That moment in your life doesn't define you. You've given your life to Christ, and now you've written this beautiful, beautiful book where you share your story and such great insights. Why did you write the book, and what is your hope for those who read it?
I hope that it can help people. I really have a heart for people who are suicidal and who have struggled with those kinds of feelings.
Yeah.
I really want to reach out to people and tell them that there's hope and that there's help. There's lots of help available if they will reach for it.
Yeah.
Medication helps, and there are other forms of help. Hospital is a healing place, a healing place. So it's not a nice place to be, especially now with COVID, but it is a healing place, and great things can come from hospitalizations with a good doctor.
Well, you say accepting at your core that life is difficult is crucial. Tell us why.
Yes, I talk about an attitude of gratitude, developing different attitudes. Excuse me. Developing an attitude of gratitude, something I learned very early on as a Christian. And I have actually a plaque of "In everything give thanks" on my living room wall. was something I try to live by. I was pulled out of a 3-year suicidal depression by giving thanks for a wheelchair that I could get around in, and that I had good use of my hands,
Wow.
that I was not a quadriplegic.
Wow.
And that helped me a lot,
Yeah.
just to rise out of the depths.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, the way Christ has transformed you is nothing short of a miracle. And the power of gratitude in your life has been healing to you. What advice would you say to those struggling with suicidal thoughts?
I would say, if it's persistent, go to a hospital. You need psychiatric medication, and you need psychiatric professionals around you to help you get through this mire. You know, there is a lot of help these days.
Right.
And people need not fear going to the hospital. They need not fear getting the treatments that are available. And there's just lots and lots of hope if you just reach for it.
That's so good and so important. You know, you have a recipe for life. I read it in your book. It's made up of certain practices that have enabled you to live a healthy life. Tell us quickly what it is.
Yes, it's heavy daily doses of scripture while journaling, deep and courageous daily heart-to-heart dialogue with God in prayer and in fellowship with others.
Wow.
Regular and non-intrusive entering into the lives of others, which means just asking them how they are, relating to them, meeting them where they are, and disciplined walks of 30 minutes or daily. I was a big walker prior to my injury. I walked for 30 minutes every day.
Yeah.
And disciplined work, preferably in the area that uses your gifts.
Yeah.
And weekly fun, downtime for you and Jesus with your family and or friends.
I love it.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a great recipe. So if you want to hear more about Ellen's life and her story and her incredible insight, go to 700club.ca, where you'll see about her book. She also has a book of poetry that complements it. But thank you, Ellen, for taking the time to share with us today. God bless you as you keep living your life and following your recipe.
God bless you. Thank you.